Hey everybody, thanks for joining today. It is Wednesday, March 11th, 2020. I want to go into a few news items. There's a couple really great analytical reports out and a wonderful podcast. Real quickly, I'm just going to read through the interesting things or the news as I see it, and then I'll get into a little bit more detail. But if anybody wasn't aware, Cardano released Ouroboros Hydra research paper. Really great paper. I'll link it here. Basically, they revealed the simulations of the network, and it shows that each Hydra head can complete 1,000 transactions per second. That's pretty interesting. I noticed BAT rewards can now be redeemed at Apple and Amazon. That being said, the first thing I want to take a look at today is just traditional markets. The market's just opened, and it looks like the Dow is down nearly 600 points, a little over. S&P is down 70 some points. Gold continues to be strong, so that's interesting. But let's go ahead and get into the things that I think most people here are interested in. So Cardano released the Ouroboros Hydra research paper. This is a great paper. I will link it. I don't want to really show a whole lot from it. But basically, it's showing simulations where each Hydra head can support up to 1,000 transactions per second. And 1,000 heads, there could be a maximum theoretical performance rate of 1 million transactions per second. Very, very interesting. I'll put that here. A name, so I've mentioned Seroquel before. I've mentioned some other things that are not common names within the blockchain space. Another one I'd like to mention is Figure Technologies. So came across an article and it reminded me that I should probably talk about Figure. I don't want to go into much detail once again, so please don't hate me for this, but my role here is just to drop some breadcrumbs, and if you're interested in these things, you can go a little bit further. But Figure Technologies securitized 150 million of home equity loans onto blockchain. Figure Technologies completed a long-awaited 150 million securitization of a bundle of home equity lines of credits, so HELOCs. Billed as the first such transaction in which all aspects of the process were managed on a blockchain. You'll notice that several strong legacy players were involved in this, like the financial giant Nomura out of Japan, the Jefferies Group, which is a U.S. brokerage. I'm going to include this link. And if you want to go down this road of figuring out Figure and what they do and maybe why they're not talked about, I think you'll find this very, very interesting. This was another great article talking about Fed rate cuts will boost the demand for crypto lending. I absolutely agree. Basically, the rundown of this article is Fed stimulus encouraged consumers to borrow more, correct? And just the recent news of blockchain.com launching new crypto service. Interest rate cut from the U.S. Federal Reserve has led to a surge in demand from crypto lending services. Blockchain-powered lending platform Figure Technologies saw a threefold increase in loan applications. Fed stimulus encouraged consumers to borrow more. So Figure co-founder, CEO Mike Cagney commented, the 300% increase in applications suggests consumers are eager to take advantage of unprecedented lower rates across mortgages, HELOCs, and student loan refinancing. Consumers will benefit through lower debt costs and cash out refi and HELOCs. More cash on hand. Also gives a little blurb about blockchain.com launching basically new and expanded crypto lending services. If OXT research is not something you guys are familiar with, maybe you should be. This could be a place where you could go take a look from time to time. They've done a really good job in piecing together and sleuthing and doing some detective work and analytical metric work on this PLUSTOKEN scam. And I know that some of you might have heard that PLUSTOKEN scam. You might have heard that word as reason and cause why we hit that high in July of 2019. But I'm going to encourage you to go take a look at these situation reports 1 and 2. They're really well done, and it really exposes the Ponzi of this Plus token. You may have heard your favorite YouTuber talk about it at a very surface level. This is deep and wonderful, and I would encourage you to take a look. So basically, the scope of these reports, the assessment and review of the real-world links to Plus token and reported Bitcoin addresses, basically how they discovered and tracked the movement of Plus tokens across various mixers. So that's really interesting if you're into tech. Methodology and verification of Plus tokens, 200,000 Bitcoin hoard. Yep. An evaluation of Plus tokens' impact on Bitcoin exchange rate. An assessment of the remaining impacts and suggestions for investors and traders who may be impacted by the movement of these coins, right? So anyone that doesn't know, Plus Token was a popular high-yield investment scam operating largely out of China, South Korea, and Japan. The scam went relatively unnoticed in the West while drawing in a self-reported 2.423 million users and a reported hoard of over 200,000 Bitcoin. I want to give you these reports, and hopefully this will give you a much, much greater understanding of the Plus token scam, Ponzi scheme, and hopefully, if you ever encounter something like this again, maybe you're a little bit forewarned and forearmed. There's been a lot of questions about Chainlink staking and node work, and this is an older article from June 9th of last year, but I want to include this because it gives a nice overview, because I think people are misunderstanding how this is going to work. And it's important to understand that this staking mechanism is not going to be like any other staking mechanism that you're familiar with. There's also some great links here about how to run a Chainlink node and a setup guide. There's a couple great articles by Patrick Collins explaining oracles and creating smart contracts smartly. I just want to read a little bit. You'll notice I wrote a similar article about building smart contracts and getting started. In that article, I messaged about how to get data from a single node, which is great if you're looking for a specific type of data. There are at least one major issues with grabbing data from a single point, as you now have a single point of failure, which we have seen in recent cases in history where single points of failure have actually caused issues. A much safer, cheaper, and more efficient method is to get your data from a decentralized Oracle feed or reference data contract. Chainlink has made steps to make specific, widely used pricing data available on chain for you to use in your smart contracts, and they couldn't be simpler to use. I agree. The data is collected and aggregated from multiple sources, and there's a reputation system in place. So each node is incentivized to always send the most accurate data. This gives kind of a step-by-step how to build this out. There are a few steps to test the aggregator contracts. So basically at the end here, it says, and it's as simple as that. Now you can use pricing data in your DeFi apps to pull data in your main net contract directly from a node. You just have to pay a little bit of link token, which is why Chainlink token is so valuable. It's a crucial utility token for the ecosystems of on-chain data, ensuring the nodes are up at all times, providing the blockchain with data. These pulls from node operators is what powers these reference contracts. Another great thing about this article is he says, want to go a little deeper? A wonderful course on building Solidity contracts and UIs can be found here, and it covers everything end to end, and I agree. So I really dig this person, Patrick Collins. Way to go, brother. So it's another day, so that means there's got to be another Chainlink partnership mentioned, and sure enough, there is. Chainlink is now partnering with HDAC. With Chainlink, HDAC is sure of having a reliable data for its blockchain-based dApps and Internet of Things services. Chainlink will also offer HDAC its decentralized Oracle middleware solution so that blockchain-based dApps of the latter can have secure access to off-chain data. Epicenter did an amazing Tezos podcast with Jacob Arluck. The topics covered in this episode: decentralized nature of Tezos development and teams that make up the ecosystem, who is funding Tezos protocol development, permissionless nature of the Tezos architecture and governance mechanism, some talk about Michelson, the stack-based DSL domain-specific language, and the shift towards Michelson 2.0, and the types of applications being built on Tezos. So this is a great podcast if you're interested in Tezos. Thanks for watching. I hope anyone found these things interesting or useful. I'll include the links below. Feel free to subscribe. I think at last check, I was near 350 viewers or subscribers, I guess. If we can get near 1,000, maybe I can start doing some live streams if that is something that people are interested in. I really appreciate everyone paying attention to these videos. I hope anyone finds these interesting. I do not take any solicitation from any blockchain tokens, anything like that. The things I discuss, I may or may not hold these tokens, but they are definitely things that I am interested in. Many times I'm talking about projects or technologies that I do not have tokens or a stake in. Sometimes I do. So I just wanted to mention that up front. I have never been paid other than by donations that are down below by anyone that feels that that is appropriate. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Go blockchain.
Yes, I love technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology.